Senator Kane, Senator Cotton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral Gilday and General Berger, thank you for your latest and presumptively your last appearance at the committee as Chief and Commandant. We congratulate you for a lifetime of service and appreciate everything you've done for this country. Mr. Secretary, I want to be the latest senator asked about this issue of the 31 amphibs. The budget this year doesn't include any FY24 money for the 17th San Antonio class ship. That sets you on a path to fall below the legislatively mandated 31 ship amphib floor, as Senator Kane pointed out. And General Berger, you testified that you think that's in the needs of the Marine Corps. So I just want to ask, what's up with this discrepancy between that legislative mandate and General Berger's stated needs for the Marine Corps and the budget request? Can you explain it to us?
Well, thank you, Senator. First, let me unequivocally state that I don't dismiss anything that the Commandant of the Marine Corps said with the need for our nation to have the heavy lift that's necessary to provide our expeditionary forces in the Pacific, in particular, the ships that they need to be able to carry equipment and personnel around the Pacific. The concern that developed over the course of the last year or so has been the increasing cost of the platforms themselves. There were two studies that were done to address this issue. One is a cost study that was initiated by the Office of Secretary of Defense to look at and compare the cost essentially between the different designs of the LPD and see if we could actually bring down those costs. And the second is the BIFSAR, which is mandated by the 23 NDAA as well, and to take a look at the overall requirements for the amphibious ships, both large and medium, in order to make the right decisions necessary in the 25 budget to invest in the required platforms. And I think that there's also general recognition that moving towards a multi-ship, multi-year procurement is an effective way to bring the cost of those ships down in the future.
So at bottom, it's a cost issue.
Yes, sir. The cost per ship issue.
Yes. General Berger, any further thoughts on this matter?
The Senate, the Congress gave the service chief the authority, the responsibility to determine the operational requirement, which I did, which is 31. But the Secretary obviously has a lot of things he has to fund, as does the Secretary of Defense. So I'm not in their position to weigh it against all the other things that they must fund. I can just tell you that the operational requirement, the minimum, is 31. And that assumes a level of maintenance that provides the availability to the combatant commanders.
Okay, thank you both. Obviously, this matter has a high degree of interest on the committee, and I suspect we'll be addressing it in the months ahead. Mr. Secretary, I also want to speak about the state of our industrial base, especially what it means for submarines. The Navy's inability to field ships and the fleet on time and on budget for many years, well before you came along, to be fair.
Trying to make it better, Senator.
Yeah, we all are. But it's been a source of growing concern. There are press reports that it's now going to take 5 years for the Virginia-class submarine production to reach its target of 2 boats per year. Admiral Gilday earlier this year spoke to industry, and he told them that they needed to prove it. That's a direct quote. I think that's an apt quote to industry regarding the ability to ramp up production. Our submarines obviously provide us an unmatched strategic advantage, especially in the Western Pacific against communist China. So could you give us some thoughts about what we can do in this committee and in Congress to help assist with the ramp up of the industrial base, especially as it relates to submarines?
Yes, sir. Again, it's all hands on deck approach. Everything from trying to improve the manpower issue and trying to get the shipyards to be able to recruit more effectively. I mean, we face across the entire country a national shortage when it comes to blue collar workers. I think increasing legal immigration to this country and work visa programs actually may very well help to better and support that blue-collar workforce that's needed in places like the shipyards, for example. But again, the investments that you've made in 23 and 24 are in the right direction in terms of the investments in the industrial base itself. One thing that I've been trying to do, Senator, is trying to expand the marketplace with regards to smaller shipyards, getting them involved in Department of Defense construction, and having them actually support the big primes. So I've been having conversation with the primes, for example, to try to include more smaller shipyards to feed the primes. And a perfect example of that actually is being executed now at Austal, where even before I got here, the CNO encouraged the development of steel hulls at Austal. They are now building steel hulls, and they're actually contributing to Electric Boat up in Connecticut and providing the necessary modules necessary. And I think HII is doing the same thing as is Ingalls down in Pensacola as well, too. I think continued investment in CapEx makes a lot of sense, where the government invests in these capital improvement programs at the shipyards, so that the shipyards can also make an equal investment and help get us to the right place. It's all hands on deck across the entire spectrum of improvements that have to be made.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cotton. Senator Rosen, please.
Well, thank you, Chairman Reed. Ranking